If you are an investor who wants to sell your unit because of the high interest rate, but you are stuck with a tenant, then this video is for you. If you are an investor who has some extra cash ready to grab a below the market deal, then this video is for you. Let me share a true investor story with you from both the perspectives of the seller investor and the buyer investor. If you'd like to hear more true stories from other investors, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell so I know I should share more. My investor client asked me to sell his 2-year-old one-bedroom condo in downtown Toronto. I asked him the same question that I would ask all sellers. Can you keep the unit for at least 1 more year? I really think it is the worst time to sell right now, with interest rate sitting at the peak. But my client is telling me that he must sell because he needs the fund elsewhere. Okay, so we are going to sell this unit, and there are 3 major challenges. Challenge number 1, tenanted unit. This is the most common challenge that investors, sellers have to deal with. You need to sell the unit with a tenant living there. There's no guarantee that the unit will be clean and tidy. The tenants have all the liberty to be messy because they are paying rent, and they might not agree to all showing times and dates. If you have to compete with a similar unit that is vacant and nicely staged, of course, the other unit is much more likely to win. We are so lucky this time that the tenants keep the unit so well, almost like a staged unit. And we were able to get some nice photos done. So at least 1 challenge down. Challenge number 2, lease term and rent. Your current lease term and the amount of rent you are collecting will be major deciding factors on the type of buyers you can get. Let's say we want to target end-user buyers. If you have a month-by-month lease term with your tenants, then you can just serve a notice and have the tenants move out in 60 days. Keep in mind that you would have to pay a 1-month rent compensation to the tenant. Treat this as your selling expense. If you still have a 1-year fixed lease with your tenants, then it is really at the tenant's mercy whether they want to terminate the lease early. In most cases, it is a no, because the market rent is likely higher than the rents the tenant is paying. You can try to offer the tenant more compensation, say 2 months rent instead of 1. But I can tell you that the success rate is pretty low because most tenants wouldn't want to move again within a year. So it is going to be very tough to target end-user buyers when you are still in a 1-year lease term. What about investor buyer then? There's no way to terminate the current lease with an investor buyer. So it doesn't matter whether it is month by month or a 1-year term. The investor buyer will have to assume the current lease. Of course, that includes the current rent. You see, the rent amount is going to make or break the deal. The best case is, of course, market rent with no rent control. The worst case? The rent is below market, the unit is under rent control, and you are stuck with a 1-year lease. No investor is going to buy this unit unless it comes with a huge price incentive. So the best thing you can do in this situation is to wait for the 1-year lease to expire, renew month by month, and then sell the unit to an end user. I hope this clarifies all the different scenarios for you, and you now have a better understanding of your position if you have to sell. Now, back to our story. My client's unit is under our rental management program. We put in the tenants for him during COVID in 2021. Brand new 1-bedroom unit in downtown Toronto. The rent was only $1,600. Good thing the unit was not under rent control. In 2022, the tenant renewed the lease for another 1 year at $1,900. This year, renewed again for another year, this time at $2,200, which is about market rent. So we know we have a great tenant who always pays rent on time and keeps the unit in great condition. But here comes the biggest challenge. Challenge number 3, the selling price. We have a unit in great condition with market rent, so we put it up onto the MLS aiming for a sold price from 6 months ago. We didn't get that many showings at all. It seems that people are not even interested in taking a look. Indeed, according to the MLS data, only 1 in 4 condo units in downtown Toronto gets sold in today's market. We did get 1 offer from an end user along the way, but our tenant is very firm on the 1-year lease, so we have no way out but to find an investor buyer. Yes, if you are subscribed to my Deal of the Week email, it is the unit I told you about last week. I got 2 types of offers. The first type were from people who are trying to slash the price by 30%. Nice try, but it is not happening. The second type were from investors who have extra cash on hand. They plan to get a small mortgage, so even with the high interest rate, the market rent is still enough to cover all the expenses. They are ready to go as long as they can find a good deal. So, what is a good deal? Around 5 to 10% below market value. You see, because you are getting it 10% below market value. When the market recovers with more sales activities, even if prices stay flat, you have already gained 10%. Doesn't seem that hard at all. That's why investors see this an opportunity. So I have a very happy investor buyer who grabbed a great deal. As for my investor seller, of course, he's not excited about the sold price, but he is realistic investor. He needs to get his fund back with a quick closing. That's a price to pay in today's market. So for you sellers out there, if you don't have to sell, please don't. If you must sell, you have to understand what is in front of you and be realistic. For you buyers who want to grab great deals, this is the best time. That's why every crisis is an opportunity. If you don't want to miss out on great deals, make sure you subscribe to my Deal of the Week emails at the link below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.